Good afternoon. My name is Tzigane Libson, and I am here on behalf of John Paul Mitchell Systems. I am here today to talk to you about our preview assessment and help introduce you to our new Pop XG. Today we'll be doing Cara, which is a combination of some of our teals, greens, and yellows. I'm so excited to bring you new information about this product. I think in our salon world, especially today, so much of the success that I have had is really getting to be creative and bringing together some of these unique and different fashion tones with our direct dyes. Pop XG is really going to help give us the opportunity to do so and bring more of those clients into our salon. It's not used in our look today, but our steel, that gray in the Pop XG, it is the color everyone is looking for. And I'm sure once you see today's formula and placement, greens, yellows, and our midnights are going to be something everyone's after as well. Here we are back with our model Jade. Salon reality, class reality, we're always going to run into those other little bumps where our guests want something specific, or maybe they're not ready to go quite that far. In this case, Jade really didn't want to lose that dark black root because it's really great for her to grow her hair out, especially with her job and hectic schedule that she has going on. So to accommodate her, we've kept her base nice and dark, and we'll overlay that with one of our formulas from our Cara technique. In our formulas today, we do have 2 ounces of teal, 2 ounces of green, and a 1/2 ounce of midnight. This will be her base formula, and it's going to blend absolutely perfect with that black base that she needs for work. Our second formula is 2 ounces of green and 2 ounces of teal. This is really going to be perfect for that mid, as well as be beautifully pop, the power of paint, on those ends. We also have our yellow, which I think is a key formula or a key color in this formula and placement. However, again, salon reality, I don't know if we're able to get her that light for this yellow to really show through. So what it's going to do is it's going to help create some beautiful dimension in and amongst these greens. Jade did go through our lightning service. Having had black hair, she did box color once or twice herself too over the last couple of years. It's really hard to get that hair up to a level light enough to really see that yellow. So we went ahead and did our platinum card technique with a little bit of a rooty look to get that lift in through here. As you can tell, she is really nice and even where she did lift. Then we brought her to our wash house, dried her, took her to our wash house, blow dried her here in the chair, and got her all sectioned out, ready for this technique that was created by one of my absolute favorites, Miss Mary Kumo. Couple facts before we go into Pop XG. I did just want to tell you a little bit about it. What's really fantastic is its long-lasting durability. The power of paint. I think the name kind of says it all. Like paint on a wall, it's going to last you a long time, unlike a lot of our other stains. We also have 13 beautiful and electrifying shades that are all intermixable, as you can tell from our formulas right here. And last but not least, the rich conditioning base, I think, sells it. It's soft to the hair. It's almost like a conditioning treatment as it's going on to the hair. And that to me speaks absolute volumes. The other thing I love about it, the smell. I think the pink almost smells like roses. My guests have actually commented a few times as I'm walking back to the chair smelling it, because it really is such an easy smell as far as color goes. So shall we go ahead and get started? We're going to go ahead and get going with our technique now. I'm going to get her sectioned out, and I'll show you how that goes in just a few. All of our Pop XG colors, all 13 electric shades, must be applied to clean, dry hair. So if you ever have a guest come in and she just wants her direct dye or stain overlay, and that hair is a little grubby, always make sure you take her to a wash house for an extra service in the wash house and get that hair really nice and clean. The pop is going to adhere much better to a clean surface, and you're also going to get that maximum vibrancy from these colors. Do not use heat, it's not recommended, and will not help the vibrancy of the colors. As we talked about our formulas earlier, I mentioned our midnight. Midnight is going to deepen all of those tones. So you want a really dark smoky blue or purple, add in a little bit of your midnight and you'll really achieve that. If you want to go a little lighter with any of your formulas, that's what our diluter is there for. And I feel it says it right in the name, diluter. It's absolutely perfect for anything that's going to lighten a shade. So here we are. As you can tell, we've already started our application process. In our preview assessment, we do want to begin in the fringe area. Jade, in a real life situation, didn't want to quite go with bangs. So we're gonna go ahead and still do her haircut as if we would the bangs, but we've skipped that part in the color and just gone straight to the back. Like we talked about earlier, every canvas is gonna be a bit different. So instead of alternating the green and yellow right away, we've brought that first formula down, which again was our teal, green, and midnight, and then blended it into our green, which is our Kelly green, which is our green and teal mixed together. Now that we're moving a little higher into the head, where we can get some of those lighter colors, we'll go ahead and actually start alternating the green and the yellow. Taking about 1/2 inch wide sections, we're just gonna go ahead and move up the head. Always starting with that first formula, which was our one with the midnight in it. Deepen that beautiful, beautiful tone. So that same color down here, that green and teal, that is the same tone we're seeing up in the base area, except we've added that midnight to it. Always keeping your sections really nice and clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and just on top of this plastic piece, I actually even feel like my section was a little bit too thick there. You do wanna make sure that these sections are indeed thin enough that you can actually saturate the hair. If you don't saturate the hair with the direct dye because there's no peroxide or gas to give it that energy, it isn't a powerhouse for color, we really want to make sure that saturation's there. Now that I've made my section a little bit thinner, I'm going to go ahead and move our guest up slightly. And now that I've made that section thinner, I'll go ahead and begin. Starting with our first formula. Go ahead and tilt forward for me. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and start right at that base. Making sure it's always nice and neat and clean. Always keeping yourself and your workstation really clean during an application process, I think, is incredibly important as well. The moment we kind of get messy, it begins to show in everything else that we do. So really working that first color in there, moving into that. Again, cleanliness, wiping my hands off before I move into that next formula. Staying with my green for blend, I'm going to go ahead and work that into that mid right there. You need to go ahead and separate that hair out again for maximum saturation. You can. And remember, this is a technique and formula all about color alternation. So definitely don't forget to do that as you work through the head. And I'm going to go ahead and finish out this section with our Pop XG yellow, since we haven't had too much of a chance to get that into her hair yet with the levels she lifted to as far as lightness goes. And moving on to the next section, I'll be staying within the same color family, or should I say order. You can see in our fabric of hair here where Jade has maybe tried some other techniques or other types of color. She's lifted a little bit uneven. What I do love about this pop is as long as you have chosen a color formula with enough depth, all of that's going to come out, and you're not even, or it's going to be blended, should I say. You're not even going to notice that some of those inconsistencies are showing up. Just wait and see till the end. So now we're gonna go ahead and go in again, midnight, green to yellow. Or our formula with midnight into the green and then into the yellow. On this next section, although saturation is incredibly important as well, you don't have to kind of go in there as much because you do have that section underneath with color. That'll get the other side saturated for you as well. So like I mentioned, now that I'm working into parts of the head where we have a little bit more lightness, I'm going to go ahead and alternate a little more, bringing this green in. To create these beautiful blends, ombres, balayages, any of those techniques and formulas that are out now, the best little bit of advice I can give you, never have a flat brush. The moment you go in there with just that flat brush, you're going to start to create those lines. Always working with the side of your brush, dusting upwards or dusting downwards is going to help eliminate any of those hard lines. We want to see a beautiful blend, this flawless color that just sort of all melds together. We don't want to see a bunch of stripes in this specific technique. With this pop, the power of paint, you can definitely get those stripy effects. But for this technique, we do want to keep that beautiful blended look. Fully saturating those ends. Going on with my nice protective layer and moving into the next section. On the next section, again, starting with our dark formula with the midnight, and then we'll alternate with the green and yellow as we work our way up. We've worked our whole way up the head, midnight, our formula with midnight, 2 ounces teal, 2 ounces green, and some midnight. It's called Emerald. Top. Then we're working into that Kelly green, which is our 2 ounces of teal, 2 ounces of green. And then we have the yellow. Where you can see all this green and yellow, the reason you can see some of it up there and some of it down there, is because with each section it alternates, like we showed you a little earlier. Now we're moving into the front of the head. We are not going to take horizontal sections. We're actually going to take vertical sections working back. This is my favorite way to apply any color that's just a touch-up or base to ends. We really get to cover that entire hair strand, and because we're taking these big vertical sections, we're covering a lot more, a lot quicker. So we're going to go ahead now with this vertical section, taking it back over our most recent plastic sheet. Again, lining that with our Emerald formula and bringing it down onto that sheet. So now you can almost see, in fact you can very clearly see where one of her old ombres and one of her old color placement was. So I'm actually going to utilize this lighter area to throw that yellow on and get that brightness through the ends, and then keep this midnight bringing it a little lower down into the base, or into the mid shaft, should I say, from the base, and then working into this beautiful Kelly green formula. Our Kelly green formula has got to be one of my absolute favorite formulas from Pop. I'm also really into the Harlequin, which is our lime green. I think green is one of the most popular colors this season. So I am really excited to play around with that Harlequin and get some other formulas going. If you check out our Pop XG pamphlet, it'll show you all those different formulas such as Harlequin, grape, denim, and a few others we've come up with. And now bringing that yellow down into that last section. If you wanted to get really dimensional and really multi-dimensional with multi-different colors, and you had that really perfect fabric or canvas from base to ends at a level 9 or 10, you You could really go quite small, our emerald, Kelly, yellow, emerald, Kelly, yellow. Her hair is long enough that you could actually really fit quite a few different little sections onto that area. Coming around to the other side, again, another vertical section. Keeping that section nice, neat, and clean, setting yourself up for success. Every step is the next step to success. Even though all I'm doing is taking a section and a parting here, by keeping that nice and neat and clean, I'm setting myself up for success in the wash house. I'm not gonna have to scrub, I'm not gonna have to ruin her makeup, because I don't have color everywhere. I've kept it just right on the hair. Bringing that around for easy body position. Now you can see where that green starts to meet up. A little more saturation through that top area there. Top of my brush for that beautiful blend. I do find that blend is also, it's really all in the wrist. If your wrist is stiff and you are just trying to do this, you're gonna end up with lines. The moment you soften that wrist and you really get that flow, you can just go in there and just gently, 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 creating that beautiful blend and transition right in there. So you won't ever have to feel or worry about kind of stripes. So I'm gonna go ahead and utilize my yellow just through the end there. Dusting it upwards again, and then I'm gonna fill in that space with the green. Because she's a little denser and a little thicker on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and move to that side. In a perfect world, we wish every single model was platinum card, level 9 or 10, parted down the middle, and hair went just below her shoulders. That would be our perfect world of color. Unfortunately, that is rare, but an amazing gift when we get it, but rare. So because jade is heavier on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and work a little more here and do 2 sections and then 1, and then 2 sections and then 1, and that's how we'll complete the rest of her head, and then we'll go ahead and move on to her haircut. We've now completed our application on our model Jade with our carrot technique from Mary Kumo for our Pop XG. So as you can tell, everything has been completed. She is completely covered in paint, and she's gonna sit and process now. Pop does not process for more than 30 minutes, but really with it being a stain or direct dye, the moment it is on the hair, it's kind of doing everything it needs to do. Again, we don't recommend heat, not a hood dryer, not a flat iron, anything like that. We're just gonna go ahead and let this sit for 30 minutes. We're gonna take it back to our wash house. I think in Jade's case, having gone through quite a bit of a process today getting lighter, we're gonna go ahead and use our Awapui, and we'll do an Awapui Kera Triplex and Hydro Triplex treatment on her this evening as well. Our model Jade is back from the wash house with an awesome experience from Awapui Hydro Triplex and Awapui Kera Triplex treatment. We've brought her back to the chair, used our Awapui styling treatment oil to really get any tangles out, condition those strands, close the cuticle, and provide some of that moisture that we're really looking for after a color service. We've also parted her directly down the middle and sectioned her out on the sides. In the video for our preview assessment, we do have about 7 sections, including 1 in the back. However, the density in Jade's hair just isn't that thick, so we've gone for fewer sections. We're gonna go ahead and start in the front of the head, and we're gonna go ahead and take our first section. We're going to be creating a curved cutting line. Beginning with that first section, combing it down. And we're beginning to put in that curved section. Finding my guide. I'm actually even going to go back to that section and take it just a little bit shorter so we can continue to create the curve in the rest of the hair. Wish it's just a little finer or shorter from previous color. Coming back around, continuing with that curved shape. There it is. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take that off right there, giving us that beautiful rounded effect. Moving into my second section. Your over direction is going forward. So all of this is coming forward, which, if we think about lines, geometry, over direction is going to create length. So we know the layers are going to become longer in the back and shorter in the front because we're over directing forward. This is that first section in there. I'm noticing a little piece I don't really like, so I'm actually just going to go back and clean that up a little more just to accent that curve even more. Pulling this section all the way forward, over direction. You can see my guide perfectly there. And again, over directing our whole next section forward as well. How are you liking those greens? They're really popping. That Kelly green is absolutely one of my favorites. I think I will begin to use Kelly green on everyone. And here we go. That beautiful curved look is coming into play with all those beautiful layers. I'm going to go ahead and move into one of my back sections now. Again, over directing forward. This isn't going to change. Everything's going to come forward. I think this is an incredible haircut for anyone and everyone, those that are really advanced and those that may be newer behind the chair. This is going to allow you to create something newer for your guests that they may not have had before, but it's really easy to follow, which is why I think it's a phenomenal haircut to teach in classes, because really anyone can do it at any point. Over directing that all forward, found my guide, cleaning that right up, bringing that curved section forward as well. And there's just that little bit right there that needs to be cleaned up. And again, we have our beautiful curve. Moving into my last section. Pulling everything forward. I feel like this is a section where you really get to see how much actually does get to come forward and really help create that haircut. And of course, our mastermind behind most things, Mr. Robert Cromeans, was the creator behind this haircut. Pulling everything forward. Coming into that last section. Making sure that your tension and elevation is consistent is going to be key. As you can tell, there's not a whole lot going on to this haircut. It's really nice and simple. So make sure you're focusing and paying attention to that elevation and your tension in your hands. We're gonna go ahead and now switch sides and move on to that other side, and then we'll go ahead and get her blow dried and ready for her night out. Now moving into the second section, we're gonna begin with creating our guide. Once our guide has been created, exactly the same as we did on the opposite side, we really want to check for balance. We want this haircut to be perfectly even the whole way around. So I'm just going to go ahead and come to this other side now. Begin to create that curve in the hair. Jade is a little more dense on this side, but does thin out actually a little more when she gets to the ends. And that is just previous color, previous ombres. Jade's been coming to us in the salon for about a year now, and we've been working on trying to kind of fill in some of those areas. So even though she doesn't have the same amount of hair on both sides, it's up to us as the stylist to kind of use our knowledge that we have in that back pocket and make sure those two sides are even and perfectly balanced. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next section. Once we've completed all these sections, we'll go ahead and blow dry Jade and then show you the end result. Here we are with our finished Kara model. Doesn't she look awesome? Like I think I said in the beginning of the video, this to me, Jamaican me crazy. That's where I really see these colors, those yellows, those greens. So you can really see it. I mean, it's almost like the yellow kind of creates the spotlight in the hair. The yellow isn't so pronounced. It just sort of highlights and spotlights those beautiful green tones. So here we have our Kara model using Pop, the new color from XG, the power of paint. And truly, it's really what it is. One of the coolest things I think is actually the way it comes in these really awesome huge tubes. It really is like a big paint tube. It's so fun. So thank you to our wonderful model, Jade. Her name is actually Jade, and now she has this gorgeous jade green hair, for being our Kara model today. And for those of you that are going to be taking this class and bringing this creation to life in your own world, in your own salon, I would like to ask you, think about it. What can you do with the power of paint?